Hi, this is episode 8 of A Brief History of Nothing. This bloke next to me is Ray.
I'm the good-looking one, and that's James.
And he's delusional. Right, last Sunday, as most of the developed world has, last Sunday was in fact Mother's Day, where we celebrate, the women that are responsible for us physically existing.
Yes.
We've decided we want to talk about how Mother's Day became a thing.
Yes.
Well, we started in West Virginia, and a lady called Anne Jarvis, who had a mother whose name was exactly the same.
Anne Jarvis.
Anne Jarvis.
Well, that shows imagination.
And they wanted, Anne Jarvis Senior wanted a day of mothering.
Yes.
Of sorts. And in her memorial, Anne Jarvis Jr. wanted to make a Mother's Day and lobbied the state of West Virginia in 1908 to have a day of, celebrate motherhood and all the rest of it. And that's sort of how it started, and eventually in 1914 President Woodrow Wilson made it a national holiday in the United States. And in Australia, it started in the 20s when...
1924, wasn't it?
1924, basically it evolved from that day, people, charitable organisations giving gifts of food and bread, and that's my phone, I really should turn that off. Giving food and clothes to families who are struggling.
Yeah.
But in England, they do it differently. They have it in March.
Of course.
Of course, they do things differently. Like we have, everywhere else in the world has Father's Day in June. No, see, Australia and New Zealand, we have to have it in September.
Yes.
Because that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they have it on the last day of Lent, which is an Anglican and Catholic thing, and it basically leads up to Easter. And they had it. There was basically Mothering Sunday to do with the Mother Church, although mothers were celebrated. It was purely a religious thing, but it's become secularized, and that's basically their Mother's Day. That's when they do the Mother's Day thing.
Right.
Yes, and 3 very lucky mothers in the United States got a phone call from the President of the United States. It just randomly rang up and said, "Hi, this is your President, and yes, we want to thank you for doing a wonderful job."
Yeah, it's like you get that phone call and you go, "Yeah, sure. Bill, is that you? Stop doing it."
No, it's actually the President.
Yes.
There's video evidence of it.
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it, would you? This is Barack. Hey, you having a good Mother's Day? Yes, Algernon.
Most of them, and one of them was like, "Oh," and got her kids on the phone, like, "Oh yeah, it's the President,"
Yes.
Anyway, our science thing this week.
Yes.
We had Parkes telescope, which is very, for most people know what it is. If not,
Yeah.
there's
If
a
you
town.
haven't seen the movie The Dish, well,
What have you been doing with your life?
Yes, you're just sad.
There was most people, and particularly geeks and nerds, know about it, but in central and New South Wales, which is the state on the eastern seaboard of Australia, just below Queensland, for those who don't know Australian geography that well.
Yep, in the middle of a sheep paddock.
Basically, it's in the middle of a paddock. This is huge
Radio telescope.
And that was one of the radio telescopes that received transmission from the moon when the Apollo 11 landed with Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins landed on the moon. And for a few decades now, they were picking up this weird signal, and they couldn't figure out what it was. It was a rough, on the top end of the UHF band and start of the EHF band at 2.4 gigahertz, and they're thinking, what's going on here? Turns out, it were microwave ovens.
Yes.
They were like...
So, aliens are microwave ovens. I've always wondered about that.
Yes, we've discovered it.
Yes.
Yes. So basically, if you're in Parkes, right, if you're near that area, okay, just make sure you don't, take your food out earlier in the microwave, because it confuses astronomers.
Yes, okay. As it does.
As you do.
Yes. Okay, now, here's a little one. Birthdays on this date. A few interesting ones of note. There's apparently herds and herds of people that were born on this date.
Yeah, because there's no news at the moment. trying to do a news podcast and there's no news.
Yes. Yes. In 1820, Florence Nightingale was born.
You might want to explain who Florence Nightingale is for those playing at home.
She's the lady with the lamp. Her big claim to fame was that she organised some nurses over to the Crimean War in the 1850s and improved the standard of healthcare for the soldiers fighting the Crimean War. Now, the next one is Katharine Hepburn. Well, I don't think many people who would not know who she is.
Yeah.
Academy Award-winning actress. She was born in 1907. The next one, Burt Bacharach. Well, I think everybody's heard of Burt Bacharach.
Composer, is behind quite a few acts from the 60s and 70s. And,
yeah. Yes. And then the last one is George Carlin, one of my favourite comics. He's a very funny man and very dry humour.
I've not seen any of his work. I don't think so.
Yeah, if you're my age, you'd probably get George Carlin. But he has a very dry delivery and he's very sarcastic.
I don't mind sarcastic humour.
Yeah.
But yeah, old like Monty Python is like,
It's
funny.
Like funny. Yes, the Monty Python. The first thing of Monty Python I ever saw, I knew nothing about them when I was a kid. I saw the Department of Silly Walks on television. Remember, there was nothing like this.
Mm.
You know, comedians came out wearing a tux, stood in front of a microphone stand and told jokes. Did gags, right? It was just very little physical comedy. And here was this group of men doing this absurd physical comedy, and it was just hilarious.
Because I looked at the Dead Parrot sketch, the Lumberjack song, and I'm like, that's...
Well, I mean, it's 50 years old now. It's been churned over for 50 years. Originally, back in the late 60s and early 70s, it was funny because it was new. It was completely different from everything else that people had done before. So...
Yeah, although there is a... What did I find? Yes, in... What movie was it? I can't remember. The Frenchman, where they talked to... Oh, what's that movie?
The Meaning of Life.
The Meaning of Life, that's the one. Where the Frenchman says your father is a hamster, your mother is a hamster and your father smells of elderberries. It's basically an old-fashioned way of saying your father's an alcoholic, your father's a, pardon the freak, pisshead, and your mother sleeps around.
There you go.
Yeah, it's basically, that's what he's saying.
Right. Okay, fair enough. If you're going to be that way about it. Now, obviously you won't know, but I'm actually a diabetic. And
Type 2.
I type 2 diabetic, and I have been a bit lazy about keeping an eye on my diabetes.
I've seen him go hypoglycemic before, and it's like you did golden syrup. Here, have a teaspoon of golden syrup. Oh, we're good now. Okay, we're good.
And my doctor actually swore at me today. She
used the F-bomb in front of you because your blood glucose level was 15.
Yes.
How are you still standing and upright and breathing?
Good constitution. It was written well by lawyers.
Right.
Look, I'll just say, if you're a diabetic, or you think you might be a diabetic, get yourself checked. If you are a diabetic, do not be this silly, okay?
Don't do what he says, not what he does.
Go and get your medications, get yourself checked, do what you're supposed to do, get your eye checks, okay? If, in my case, if I want to hang around long enough to be somebody's grandfather...
Which probably won't happen because...
Well, this is what I've got to breed from.
He's going to try and marry me off first. I'm scaring 30 and I'm still single.
Scaring is the word.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, this whole long-term relationship with a lady thing. I mean, I am straight. I prefer women, but it's not working.
Okay. Well, maybe if a guy asks you.
I would say, no thank you, I'm actually straight.
Okay. Now, on there's a festival coming up, Australia's biggest 50s and 60s nostalgia festival. It's called Cooley Rocks On. It used to be called Winter Sun. It's now called Cooley Rocks On, after Coolangatta. On the May 29th to June 8th. Well worth a look. They have a street parade where they have hot rods and vintage cars, older cars and classic cars and stuff and fashions. Look, if you get a chance to get down to Coolangatta on that time, go and have a look. Well worth it. Well worth it.
Old cars, like vintage costumes.
Vintage band, rockabilly bands, rock and roll bands. It's just all well worth a look.
Yes. Yeah, and you were doing your book review.
Yes, well.
And this one's a bit odd.
Yes. This is the book. Here.
It's called, what is it called? Dark Origins.
Level 26 Dark Origins. Anthony E.
Zuiker, I think
Zuiker.
Z-U-I-K-E-R, however you pronounce that.
He wrote CSI episodes. Look, this was a job of work to try and read. Look, I'll normally read anything. I'll read the back of a toothpaste box. But
I'm the opposite. I'm just reading books. What?
This was a job of work. If you like your serial killers particularly weird and very macabre, it's probably for you. But the description's like, he uses a paragraph to describe how long it takes the serial killer to shave his anus so he can slip into his rubber suit to go out and murder. Who cares? It's very descriptive, but like...
And it's like, yeah, I was eating when I was reading this.
Yeah, it goes into things like he needs 4 1/4 sticks of butter to lube himself up to slip into his suit that he wears when he murders. Not 4 sticks of butter, not 5 sticks of butter, 4 1/4 sticks of butter. And it's just hard work. Look, to be really blunt with you, it cost me $10 in the little bookstore near where I work, and I reckon it was a waste of money. So I really, if you're desperate or you particularly like needlessly in-depth descriptions about things and gore, go for it. If you're looking for something that's readable, don't buy this.
Yeah, pretty much. And also, or you could watch us.
Yes.
We're much more interesting than that book.
Yes.
Right.
And that's one thing you'll never see me do on camera.
What, read a book?
No.
What? Kill people?
With a razor.
Don't do that. Oh God, no! Don't put pictures in my head.
Okay. Now, you're back on your Uber thing again.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned last, I'm a cab driver, and I'm therefore quite annoyed that an unlicensed cab company would come in and just random people in random cars decide to just do taxi work. I'm a little bit annoyed, as you would probably imagine, because a lot of these people, they don't have the proper licensing. A lot of people with criminal histories longer than your arm are getting through their supposed background checks. In fact, there's
I figured out what their background checks are.
What?
They look behind the person, see if there's anything in his back.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And
yeah.
look in the background.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And there was one case, and I don't think I've mentioned this. I may have mentioned this before, but there was a lady called Beverly Locke, who NBC in Chicago actually got her to apply for to drive for Uber.
Yep.
And she filled all the well, not the paperwork, but the website and everything.
Yeah.
And then 2 weeks later, she got an email back. Yeah, her background. She's cleared the background check. The only slight problem is she has a rap sheet, as they call it in the States. We'll hear a criminal record, including drug possession, burglary, threatening to cause harm, threatening to kill, and drink driving. Going back, from she'd only just got out of prison a couple of months back, and she's still on probation.
Well, that's all right, as long as she wasn't in prison, because that makes it hard to drive.
It makes it a bit hard to drive, yeah.
Yeah, they don't tend to let you out. Look, gotta go and drive my Uber cab around.
No, they tend to be a bit funny about that.
Oh, okay. They're going to be that way about it.
Yeah, it's really funny about that.
Yeah.
But there is this man, and he did some citizen's arrests. He's a hire car guy based in Sydney. And he was actually a former police officer in London.
Yep.
Gave that up and became a hire car driver in Sydney. So basically, you call in advance and look, I need a charter to get 4 people from here to here, you sort of thing. But it's all licensed and everything, but unlike a cab, where you just ring the cab company or hail one, you've got to bring up in advance and book this, and sort of like a limousine. Anyway, so he also, being as he's a little bit angry about his business going, he actually did some citizens' arrests of Uber drivers in Sydney.
Why?
So that because Sydney, the government in New South Wales and the police force and the Roads and Traffic Authority in New South Wales just wasn't doing anything about it. So he did this to try and, because he's a former police officer, he did this to try and get publicity into this and say, look, this is a problem. And it did work. He did get a lot of, and now the fine, if you're caught driving an unlicensed taxi, in an unauthorised taxi in New South Wales, the penalty is about $110,000.
Oh, that'll do it.
That'll do it. I mean, in Queensland here, it's just ridiculous, and that's what I'm trying to push for this.
Yeah.
But he has if you have a Twitter account, and if you had a bad experience with Uber, be you be an Uber driver, or you be a client of Uber, or if you're a taxi driver like me and you're angry about this, or a limousine driver and you're angry about this, he has his Twitter handle is @FreeSpeakTweet. So if you want to, tweet something to him and say, look, oh, well, I'm angry too, and what have you. And he has trying to get an hashtag out, hashtag Ubered, so Uber, with a ED on the end. And I'm trying to get a hashtag out there called hashtag Get a Proper Taxi, all one word.
Right.
So again, any people that are angry about this like I am, this is, if you've got a Twitter account, let's get these hashtags out there and let's show him some support for doing what he's doing.
Yeah. I want to end this with a little ditty that I turned up on Facebook. A mutual friend of ours put a little bit on Facebook. She's had problems with, she lives in Dubbo in New South Wales. She's had problems with rocks being thrown at her house and so forth. And she's complained several times to the police, to virtually nothing. She went outside and ended up having a rock thrown at her and hitting her. And still the Dubbo police say they can't do anything. Come on.
Guys,
really?
there is physical evidence now of both property damage and bruising.
Yes.
Like she has cuts on her because of this rock.
Yes, come on. Really? And as usual, Dubbo police do nothing.
Yeah.
Having experience with Dubbo, I'm afraid that my thoughts about the policing in Dubbo is
rubbish.
Rubbish, yes. I don't know what the problem is, whether it's the command in the police in Dubbo or it's the police themselves, but basically they're next to useless.
Yeah.
So if you're a copper and you don't like this, I'm sorry, but put a rocket up some of your colleagues and they might want to actually do something.
And it's the same with Queensland. Like, I was assaulted, I've been assaulted twice in the cab. I've got a cigarette, burn my arm, and I've been slapped in the head. And in both cases, I don't think it's the individual officers per se, but it's the institution, it's the police service as a whole, rather than the individual. It's an institutional problem rather than an individual problem, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't know what the situation is in Dubbo, whether or not it's just laziness, but
Yeah.
This is getting. Alright, that's us. If you like us, subscribe, hit like, comment, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, and a quick reminder about the bad joke competition.
Yes.
It's still running.
It's still running, and we'll get our first. We'll judge it in our first episode in June.
Okay.
So
quick bad joke. What goes around your kitchen at 120 miles an hour?
I don't know.
Alan Moppet.
Alan Moppet. It's like what goes around your plate at 120 miles an hour.
Right.
Peter Broccoli.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright then.
Bye.
See you later.